You won't believe what just went down backstage. AJ Lee, after months away from WWE, was supposed to make her epic return instead. Chaos exploded in a way no one saw coming. The arena was buzzing. Fans were anticipating a historic moment. AJ Lee, a true WWE legend, was about to step through those curtains once again. Cameras cut to backstage, where the lights flickered. The sound of hurried footsteps echoed, and every wrestler on the roster seemed to sense something unusual. AJ had been preparing for this moment in secret, training tirelessly, ready to shock the world with her return. But WWE is never predictable, and tonight, it was about to prove that. As AJ approached the hallway that led to the ring, a sudden ambush struck. Out of nowhere, masked figures, rumored to be aligned with one of the rival factions, leapt from the shadows. AJ tried to dodge, but a brutal clothesline caught her off guard. The impact sent her staggering to the floor, a gasp echoing from the crew, and hidden cameras capturing every second. Even the most seasoned wrestlers backstage froze in disbelief. AJ Lee, injured and vulnerable, was the last person anyone expected to be taken down like this. The ambush was merciless. It wasn't just a quick hit. It was a statement. The assailants made sure she was temporarily incapacitated, slamming her into carts and barricades. The chaos sent security scrambling, alarms blaring, but AJ's legendary resilience was already sparking. Even in pain, her eyes burned with determination. Fans watching the livestream had no idea this was happening, and once the cameras finally caught her struggling to her feet, the crowd erupted into screams of shock and excitement. AJ Lee, though ambushed, realized this wasn't the end. With her allies nowhere in sight, she scanned the area. The masked attackers were powerful, but they underestimated the raw fire that AJ carried. Injured, yes, but far from defeated. The first section closes with her clenching her fists, a defiant glare, and a voiceover. This isn't over, not by a long shot. Backstage chaos has reached a fever pitch, and AJ Lee isn't backing down. Injured but unstoppable, she's about to shock everyone with what comes next. After the ambush, AJ Lee struggled to her feet, blood mixing with sweat as she tried to regain her bearings. Every step was a test of endurance. Her legs felt like lead, her arms throbbing from the impact, but her resolve was unshakable. The WWE Universe knew AJ as a fighter, a strategist, and tonight, her reputation was about to escalate to legendary status. Cameras followed her every move, catching the intensity in her eyes, the determination in every breath. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a declaration that AJ Lee had returned to claim her spot at the top, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, her teammates who had been waiting anxiously nearby sensed something was wrong. Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss exchanged frantic glances, their instincts screaming that AJ was in danger. The backstage monitors revealed the full horror of the ambush. Masked attackers surrounding AJ, a flurry of chaos that seemed almost cinematic in its ferocity. The team's initial panic turned into urgency. They had to act, but the attackers were swift, calculated, and merciless. AJ, bleeding and bruised, made a bold move. She ducked behind a supply cart and grabbed a steel chain, lying nearby, a symbol of her refusal to be dominated. Every swing, every strike against her attackers was precise, showcasing that even in pain, AJ Lee was a force to be reckoned with. Her teammates rushed in, the tension reaching a fever pitch, and together, they managed to push the ambushers back, though not without sustaining minor injuries themselves. The team was shaken, but the message was clear. No one threatens AJ Lee without consequences. The fight was more than just a skirmish, it was a spectacle of grit, endurance, and sheer willpower. Security personnel flooded the area, but by then, AJ had made her point. She stood tall, her torn attire and bloodied appearance only amplifying the drama. Her teammates gathered around her, a mixture of relief and awe, evident on their faces. AJ Lee, even in this moment of vulnerability, had sparked a rallying cry that would echo throughout WWE. As the dust settled, AJ raised her hand, bloodied but unbowed, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We're not done. This is only the beginning, and next time, they'll regret ever crossing us." The backstage cameras captured every moment, sending the WWE Universe into a frenzy. Viewers glued to screens, hearts pounding at the intensity of the scene. The dust has barely settled, and AJ Lee isn't just recovering, she's taking control. What she does next will leave WWE fans absolutely stunned. With the ambush behind her, AJ Lee stood in the middle of the chaotic backstage area, bruised and battered but radiating determination. Every wrestler and crew member nearby knew one thing: AJ Lee had returned not just to fight but to command the battlefield. Her eyes scanned her teammates, who were still catching their breath, adrenaline pumping through every vein. It was time for her to issue a challenge that would set the WWE Universe on fire. AJ stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension like a whip. "We've been underestimated. They thought they could ambush me, hurt me, and we'd back down. But this is WWE. This is our house, and we're about to remind them why no one messes with AJ Lee and her team." The words were electrifying. Even her teammates felt a surge of adrenaline, their own resolve reigniting in the wake of AJ's fiery declaration. Her challenge was bold, daring, and strategic. She called for her team to meet her at the War Games arena the next night, ready to face anyone who dared step in their path. AJ Lee knew this was more than just a fight. It was a statement, a show of unity and dominance. Every word she spoke was designed to inspire her allies and strike fear into the hearts of her opponents. The masked attackers from earlier had thought they were in control, but AJ Lee had turned their plan on its head. Even in her injured state, AJ demonstrated why she's one of the most respected wrestlers in WWE history. She guided her teammates through a quick training and strategy session, pointing out vulnerabilities in the rival faction. Her voice, calm but authoritative, conveyed a mixture of experience and raw passion. The team rallied behind her, knowing that under AJ's leadership, they had a fighting chance, and more importantly, a moral high ground. By the end of the section, AJ Lee had not only issued her challenge but had ignited a spark in her team that couldn't be extinguished. Cameras caught her glaring into the lens, bloodied, sweat-drenched, and defiant. "We're coming for you," she said, voice unwavering. "Next time, the ambush won't catch us off guard. War Games is ours." The backstage chaos had transformed into strategy, tension, and anticipation, every WWE fan now on the edge of their seat, awaiting the explosive showdown. Just when you thought AJ Lee and her team had control, WWE's rival faction strikes back and the chaos reaches an entirely new level. AJ Lee and her teammates were still buzzing with adrenaline from the bold challenge. The backstage area, once chaotic, had become a temporary haven for strategy and planning. But WWE is never predictable, and the rival team had been silently observing every move. Becky Lynch, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend were preparing their own retaliation. The tension in the air was palpably. Wrestler knew that War Games would become a war unlike any other. The rival team struck at dusk, taking advantage of a narrow corridor and the element of surprise. Security cameras caught a sudden rush of movement. Asuka launched a precision strike at Rhea Ripley, while Lash Legend attempted to incapacitate Alexa Bliss. Chaos erupted in seconds. AJ Lee, despite her injuries, jumped in to defend her teammates, turning what looked like a tactical ambush into an all-out brawl. The crowd watching online went wild, witnessing raw WWE action like never before. AJ Lee's leadership became evident under pressure. Even while bruised and battered, she coordinated her team in real time, signaling attacks and counterattacks. Her presence was magnetic. Her teammates followed her lead, striking with precision and agility. Each blow, each dodge, each countermove amplified the drama and suspense. The rival faction, despite their strength, realized that AJ Lee's comeback had rekindled a fierce fire that couldn't be extinguished. The intensity of the retaliation escalated further. Tables were tipped, props were thrown, and every corridor became a battleground. AJ Lee's strategy wasn't just to survive, it was to send a message. No ambush, no betrayal, and no rival would dominate her or her team without paying a price. Cameras captured her glaring at each opponent, every move calculated, every strike deliberate. Fans could sense that this wasn't mere wrestling, it was a masterclass in resilience and tactical genius. As the brawl wound down, AJ Lee, bloodied but unbowed, stood at the center of the chaos. Her voice, strong despite the pain, cut through the background clamor. "You wanted a fight. Here it is. War Games will decide everything. And when it's over, everyone will remember who the real predators are." The tension was now at its peak. WWE fans everywhere were glued to screens, sharing clips, commenting furiously, and debating predictions. AJ Lee had turned a surprise attack into a full-blown spectacle of dominance and strategy. Everything has led to this moment. AJ Lee's shocking return, the backstage ambush, the retaliation. Now the stage is set for a War Games clash WWE fans will never forget. The tension backstage had reached a boiling point. AJ Lee and her team, bruised and battered but unbroken, stood united. Their eyes locked on the looming arena where War Games would unfold. The atmosphere was electric, the stakes higher than ever. Every fan watching knew that the coming match would be a defining moment, not just for AJ Lee, but for every competitor in the cage. The rival team had regrouped, equally determined to assert dominance, and the sense of impending chaos was palpable. AJ Lee, still nursing her injuries from the ambush, raised her voice and commanded attention. "They thought they could break us, they thought they could intimidate us, but this is WWE, this is War Games, and we don't back down." Her teammates, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Alexa Bliss echoed her defiance, fists clenched and eyes blazing. The unity and determination radiating from AJ's team sent a clear warning to their opponents. The battle ahead would not be easy. Backstage cameras captured the final preparations. Tables were stacked, weapons were strategically placed, and both teams engaged in heated stares that promised explosive action. AJ Lee's gaze locked with Becky Lynch, a silent but electric exchange that made it clear. The War Games match wouldn't just be about strength, it would be about strategy, willpower, and a refusal to be intimidated. AJ knew her comeback had to be dramatic, unforgettable, and decisive. Every move, every step, every glance had to send a message. She was back, and she was here to dominate. The final moments of the script set the cliffhanger. AJ Lee limped toward the arena entrance, bloodied but defiant, her team flanking her. The crowd's roar grew deafening as the cameras followed them. And just as the match was about to begin, a shadowy figure appeared behind the rival team, hinting at an unexpected ally or new threat, leaving fans on the edge of their seats. The scene froze with AJ Lee staring straight into the lens, her message clear: War Games will never be the same again. This ultimate cliffhanger ensures viewers are desperate to watch the War Games showdown. Comment predictions and share the video across platforms. The drama, suspense, and unpredictability are maximized, making it perfect for viral engagement. Who will survive AJ Lee's epic War Games clash? Will her team dominate, or will the rival faction turn the tables? Comment your predictions below, hit that like button, and subscribe now to witness the shocking showdown live.